Thank you for joining in Chakra Flow tonight. And I'm going to have you start out in a reclined position using a bolster or a cushion like this. But you can also use a sofa cushion or a rolled up towel. That's going to go in the center of your mat, and you're going to lay down with your tailbone right up against the base of the bolster or the cushion, lying back. If it's comfortable, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, and Supta Baddha Konasana. Just letting the spine settle into the cushion. Nice open space across the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Allowing the shoulders to soften away from the ears. And just settling in to some stillness in the physical body. Letting the physical body soften, slow down, be still. It becomes a little bit easier to tap into the part that's still moving, which is the breath. That beautiful flow and backdrop that is always present. But now you have the opportunity to bring conscious awareness to the breath. No need to change the breath in any way, just simply aware and present to the breath that's already flowing through. You can feel the breath that moves the belly, gentle lift of the navel center, rising and falling. And if you like, you could bring one or both hands to rest on your belly, just to tune in a little bit more to that soft movement, rise and fall at the navel center. This is your place of personal power, confidence, self-knowing. It's that place where we talk about having the gut feelings and trusting in your gut. And so as you take this time to tap in, tune into that space, as the breath moves gently there, allow yourself to also be present to that natural instinct that you already have, trusting in those gut feelings. You can start to consciously deepen the inhalations and the exhalations now. So as you inhale, let that be more expressive. Feel the hands lift. And as you exhale, notice that sinking down of navel towards the spine. Nice inflation of the belly. And softening back. Thinking about empowerment and maybe ways that you haven't been feeling so empowered. Knowing that you have ways that you can restore a balance to those places simply by making a decision, a choice, and then following through on that decision or choice. And there's an essence in this space. It's called Tejas, which is that internal fire. And also Agni, which is another way to talk about that fire, the drive, the energy, the power that rises from this space. So maybe taking a moment now before going into the movement part of the practice to let something rise up. What is something that you would like to accomplish in this next day or few days? What is something that has kind of been there at the back of your mind that you really want to spend some of your energy to get done? Let that bubble up right from that pit of your belly. And make an intention or a pact right now with yourself that you will spend some of this amazing fire and energy that you have resting right here in this home of Tejas, of Agni, to get that done. Taking a deeper inhalation, filling yourself all the way up. Open mouth, exhale, sighing out, letting go. Again, filling up, breathing in, opening that space. And as you exhale, sighing out, letting go. Filling up, breathing in, fill all the way up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Hold for a moment at the top. And then exhale, release, sighing out, letting go. Okay. Now go back to that natural, unaltered breath and just take a few moments to rest into that space. Let the belly center soften. There are two ways to work with any energy in the body, and that is to fuel it or stoke it, or if it feels like it's in excess, to soften. Creating that balance now by really softening the space, surrendering, no contraction of the abdominals at all, just a soft and open space, not surrender. And now squeezing the knees together, plant the feet on the floor. And just take a moment here in this neutral hip position so that the thighs soften, the hips soften. And rolling off of your bolster and onto a side. You can spend a few moments resting on your side. And as the knees draw in towards the belly in fetal position, just kind of curling into yourself creates that opposite space from the opening. A little more protective. And then the hands pressing into the floor, rising up. And pressing yourself up to seated. And you have the option to sit flat on your bottom, or you could sit up on a cushion or a blanket if you need a little bit of extra support for the hips. All right, so just to warm up the shoulders, you're going to inhale and stretch the arms really high, reach the fingertips up to the ceiling or the sky, and exhale, hands come heart center. And do that 2 more times just to wake up the side waist, wake up the arms and the shoulders. And 1 more time, big stretch, big reach, breathing in. And exhale, hands come to heart. Good, now opening up, and you're going to start to create a twist, dynamic twisting. The backs of the arms are parallel to the floor. The shoulders are away from the ears, and the chest is lifted. We don't want to do this from a rounded position because that will create tension in the lower back. So really straight through the spine. And then this is just going to continue to wake up that center of solar plexus. You can start to use some breath to create a little heat, and it sounds like you're telling someone to be quiet. Now to get in a little bit deeper into that space and also to clear the throat, you're going to start to use your voice, and it sounds like this. Ha, 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 ha. Keep that going a little bit more. Just feeling that heat right there at the torso, the solar plexus, the abdominals, really working here to create this twist. Ha, 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 ha. And slowing down. Come back to center, stretch the arms up. Nice release for the shoulders, the arms. And exhale, hands to heart center. And just settle the hands on the knees so you can soften arms and shoulders. Close the eyes. And then watch the breath slow down, returning back to a more natural, smooth, and even state. If you close your eyes, gently open. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, you're coming into a reverse table. I have a little friend here with me who doesn't want to stay out of the way. Planting the feet on the floor, and then planting the hands under the shoulders. You want the fingers pointing back towards your heels. You're going to press down into your feet and lift your hips up really high. So you're going to have a wide space open across the chest and the shoulders, a lot of sensation in the arms as you press the floor away. And then you're looking straight up at the ceiling. So don't let the head hang back. Good. Really press down into the feet. Use the hamstrings and glutes to lift high. Breathe in. And as you exhale, lowering down. And you're going to come onto your sits bones. Take your hands behind your knees for Navasana, both pose. And lifting up through the feet, spreading out through the toes. You can hold here at the backs of the knees for a little extra support, or release the arms forward. And keep the chest lifting, keep the breathing smooth and even. And on your inhale, straighten the arms and legs. And on your exhale, feet come to the ground. Walk your hands back. Make sure they walk far enough back so they're under your shoulders. Feet pointing back towards your heels. Pressing down into the feet and the hands for that reverse table, lifting up. So really strong through the hamstrings and glutes. Lots of activity there in the backs of the legs. Looking up at the ceiling, eyes to the ceiling, and breath is continuing to flow. So pressing, inhaling, lifting the hips high, and as you exhale, lower back down, finding those sits bones, and returning to Navasana, boat pose. Lifting up through the feet, supporting here at the knees, or releasing the arms out in front. And now you're going to, in this round, pedal out through the backs of the knees, just so you're waking up the backs of your legs. You got a little heat in there on those reverse tables, and now you're getting some stretch behind the knees, into the hamstrings and the calves. Good. Come back to that neutral position, lifting the chest nice and high. Breathe in, straighten the arms and legs. And as you exhale, feet come down. And this time you're going to straighten out the legs, point the toes. Still walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. And now this reverse plank position. So pointing the toes towards the floor, lifting up, take the eyes to the ceiling. And if you feel like you have a lot of strength in your neck and you want to open the throat more, you can try letting the head go back just a little bit, but don't strain the neck to do that. But only if that feels good and you feel like you have the strength in your neck. Keep lifting the hips really high. If you let your head come back, now draw the chin towards the throat so you stabilize, and then lowering down. We're going to take one more round of Navasana, and this time as you lift up, you'll have the option to straighten the legs. So if that works for your body, straightening out the legs, reaching the arms up, feeling heat in your center. And big inhale. And as you exhale, just crossing at the ankles, coming into a cross-legged position. Again, sitting tall and keeping the left foot tucked in, and the right leg comes out to the side. So we're going to be going into a variation of Janu Shirshasana, but nice and easy as you twist to the right. So you have the left foot tucked in and the right leg extended. Inhaling, lifting the chest, and as you exhale, think belly towards the thigh. And you're doing a dynamic variation. So on the inhale, you lift up, and on the exhale, belly towards the thigh, gaze towards the top of your foot. Inhaling for extension, and exhaling, folding forward. So each time you might find you get a little bit more space as you continue to fold and lift. And the next time that you come forward, take a moment to stay, but this is just an easy expression, so don't come down too far. Think about length through the spine, gaze at the top of your foot. You're going to feel length at the left side of your waist. You're emphasizing the twist to the right. And now start to rise back up. You're going to plant your right hand on the ground, circle the left arm up and around, and bring the fingertips behind the left glute, and pointing the right toe, lifting the hips up for this reverse plank variation. So you're stretching the right arm up and maybe back, lifting the hips nice and high, and then soften back down, settle back down. Good. Bending at the knees, bring the hands behind the knees, taking your variation of Navasana. Breathing in, and as you exhale, crossing at the ankles, coming to sit, and then tucking the right foot in and the left leg extends. Good. So just coming into that twist to the left, rotating through the rib cage. On your inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, a little fold. And just remember that we're using the dynamic movement here to just loosen and create space in the back of the leg and through the side waist. Inhaling for that lift, and exhaling, finding the extension over the leg. Do that one more time. And then the next time that you fold forward, take a moment to stay, but nice and easy in the position, not going too deep or too far in. Start to walk back up, and then reaching up and around with the right arm, fingers plant behind the right glute, and then lifting the hips nice and high, reaching up, lifting up, stretching that top arm up and overhead. Kind of a little flash dance feeling to it. Embrace your inner dancer. And then go ahead and come back down. Good. And then coming to sit in a cross-legged position. Try to take the awkward cross of the feet so that you're in a different foot on top than you normally do. Sitting nice and tall for a static spinal twist. So bringing the left hand across and the right hand behind, tenting the fingers behind you and placing them close to the bottom. On your inhalation, growing tall, and on your exhalation, twisting to the right. A little massage to the liver here as you compress the right side of your body. Rotating back to center. Take a moment just to pause center, let the breath flow through. And going the opposite way, right hand reaches across, left hand behind, tenting the fingers. On your inhalation, growing really tall, and on your exhalation, twisting to the left. Each inhale, find the length, and each exhale, find that twist a little deeper to the left. Gently turning the head as well towards the left shoulder, feeling the stretch in the neck. And then unwind head and then torso, taking a moment to pause center. Open the eyes if they're closed, rolling over the tops of your knees, and come to hands and knees for cat and cow. So once you are in position for cat and cow, just take your natural movement so that you're finding the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. And then just moving through your range of motion. So opening up through the spine, the hips, feeling space in the belly as it drops, and feeling space in the shoulder blades as you round the upper back like a cat. Take one more round like this. And then coming back to a neutral position, take that side to side. So that's just really simple. To get the side stretch, you just look over your right shoulder towards your right hip. You'll feel space on the left side of your body. And back to center and taking the opposite way, looking left and feeling stretch on the right side of the body. And let's do that a couple more times. Completing the round that you're on, then come back to center. And once you're center, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Then coming to your down dog, pedaling out through the feet, through the knees. Feeling space in the calves, backs of the knees, hamstrings. And then come to a bent knee position and just take the knees over to the right and really bow into the left side rib cage so that you're kind of like a skier would do. Knees up to the side and feeling that stretch in the left side ribs. And then come back to center, wiggle out through the knees a little bit. And the big toes are pretty close together as you bend the knees over to the left and just sink down through that right side so you feel a nice open space in the right side of the rib cage. And just do that a couple times back and forth, switching the knees to the right, and then center and left. And then once you feel like you have some good space in the side waist, just returning to a still down dog, bringing the knees center, letting the knees bend, and really pressing the chest back towards your thighs. And feel open and spacious in the upper part of your back. On your inhalation, stretching back, and on your exhalation, looking forward and step feet up to hands. Hands come to shins. Inhale for Ardha Uttanasana, half flat back, really lengthen the chest forward, make the back flat. And as you exhale, a little softness in the knees as you fold deeply in towards the thighs. On your inhalation, straighten your legs, look forward, long spine. And on your exhalation, softening knees, folding in, crown of the head towards the floor. Good, do that 2 more times. So it helps to wake up the backs of the legs on the inhalation, and then softens the spine, open space on that back side body as you exhale, folding in. And the next time that you come into your fold, you can separate your feet about hips width apart and take a hold of opposite elbows and just sway a little side to side. Just taking time to really get space in the side waist, warming up the hamstrings. And here in this fold, you can also feel that deep into the hip joints as you move side to side. Come back to center, plant the hands, and bring the big toes a little closer together. You're going to inhale, find your flat back, and on your exhale, rise up, fly up. Arms reach up and overhead, and then hands to heart center. All right, coming to stand in mountain pose, you can take the arms by the sides, palms face forward. You're going to bend your knees and reach your arms up and overhead for Utkatasana chair pose, sinking the hips down low. Good. And now bend the knees deeper, bring your belly all the way to your thighs and sweep your arms back. So an Ardha Utkatasana, good. And just take a few moments here on your inhalation to sweep the arms forward, and on your exhalation to sweep the arms back. So this is gonna help to open up in the shoulder joint, getting the synovial fluid moving there, just lubricating, moisturizing the joint. And try to get all the way down there, belly on the thighs, and you're just being still in the body as the arms sweep forward and back. Good. On your next inhalation, reach forward, rotate at the pelvis, finding Utkatasana chair pose. And then stepping back with your right foot, coming into a high crescent lunge. Lifting the heel up towards the ceiling, feeling some stretch there on the front side of your right hip, tailbone pointing down. Bring the palms together to touch, lift the chest, and then bring the thumbs to the back of your skull as you really extend upward through both sides of the waist, chest lifting towards the ceiling. Breathe in. And as you exhale, sweep the hands up, then plant them on the ground, step back for plank pose. Really pushing the floor away, that hollow space of the belly. Breathing in, and as you exhale, lower your knees, your chest and your chin, and then hover there. Lift to the fingertips, and then point your toes up to the ceiling. So you're in kind of a little snail position. Take the toes back down to the ground and slither out onto your belly. Again, staying at the fingertips tented, inhale, lifting up. Really feel that big stretch on the front side body. And then softening back down, come through all fours, curl your toes, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Good. You're going to inhale, stretch chest to thighs. On exhale, look forward, step on up. Take Ardha Uttanasana, half flat back, and exhale, soften into your fold. And make sure that you straighten the legs and the spine first as you sweep up, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, and exhale, hands to heart, taking a moment to steady yourself in your mountain pose. Bend your knees, sweep the arms up for Utkatasana, chair pose. Nice and heavy in the heels, and then folding all the way down, belly on the thighs, sweep the arms back. Good. Just for this next round, so we'll just do this one more time, reaching forward and back, and thinking about that loosening action in the shoulders. And the next time that you reach forward, rotate at the pelvis, reaching the arms up for Utkatasana. Tailbone points down towards the ground. And now stepping the left foot back, coming into high crescent lunge. I'm feeling that nice space here in that left hip flexor. Heel is lifting towards the ceiling, spine nice and tall. Bring the palms together, really lifting the chest. And then the thumbs come to the back of the skull. The elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Feel that lengthened space. And then stretching the arms back up, sweeping the arms down, step back to your plank. And pushing the floor away, really rounding through the upper part of the spine, hollowing out the space of the belly. Breathe in. And as you exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Your chin is going to be on the ground, tailbone pointing up to the ceiling, lift the toes. Come to the fingertips, tenting the palms there. Elbows hug into the sides. And then slither forward out onto your belly. Keeping the hands close to the rib cage, tenting the fingers, inhale, lifting up. Big stretch up the front side of the body, soften down, curl the toes, pressing up and back, downward facing dog. Once you're in your down dog, move in any way that you need to feel loose in the sacral area. You can take the knees side to side if you liked that variation, or any other variation that feels good for your body. On your next inhale, reach the right leg long and straight. You're going to bend at your knee and stack your hips. So you're opening the hips up, right hip stacks on top of left. Feel that big stretch in the hip of the front part of your thigh into the hip flexors. And now you're bringing right knee across the body to the left tricep. You're going to give a nice squeeze. You're going to twist here, shooting the right leg through, and then coming into another modified side plank, reaching the left arm up to the ceiling. Bring the hand back down to the floor, knee pulls into the nose, and bringing the right foot forward between the hands. So this time, lower the back knee down for a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Walk the hands up to the thigh, reach the arms, press the palms together, take the thumbs to the back of the skull, really lengthening. And now interlace your fingers, press the palms up to the ceiling, and side stretching over to the right. So you're getting a lot of space on left side rib cage. Inhale back to center. On your exhalation, hands down to the ground, step back to plank and flow through a vinyasa. So taking your choice of knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga, going through cobra or upward facing dog, and then pressing back to downward facing dog. And extending the left leg long and straight. Bending at the knee and stacking the hip. Take a few breaths here. Opening up that front thigh. The higher you spin the knee to the ceiling, the more you'll feel that even into the inner thigh. Good. As you swoop forward, left knee is coming across to the right tricep, really emphasizing the twist. And then shoot the left leg through, reaching the right arm up for this modified side plank. Really arc up high through the right side ribs. That'll take weight out of your left shoulder. Breathing in. Hand comes back down to the ground, knee pulls into nose, stepping the left foot between the hands, lowering the back knee down. And then walking yourself up, take your time. Getting steady, reach the arms, touch the palms, really lengthening through both sideways, and then the thumbs to the back of the skull as the elbows point at the ceiling. Breathing in, interlacing the fingers, press the palms to the ceiling, and then side stretching to the left, reaching the arms over, the hips stay even and stable. Come back to center, breathe in, and as you exhale, planting the hands to the floor, step back to your plank, flowing through. Just finding an easy rhythm of breath and movement, listening to your body, and letting your breath and your body be the guide in the poses that you choose to really go deep into, or maybe back off when you need. You're going to inhale, lengthen chest to thighs, and then exhale, looking forward, step or float your feet to your hands. Lengthen, inhale, exhale into the fold. Separate your feet a little wider apart, and then take the hands behind the calves. Reaching for those opposite elbows, you're going to extend the legs as much as your hamstrings allow. So you can squeeze the quadricep muscles to straighten the knees. Feel a nice big stretch at the backs of your legs. Releasing from the elbows, you can move the feet a little closer together. And you're going to find the flat back and sweep on up for Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, breathing in. On exhalation, hands to heart. And take a moment to pause in mountain pose. Bring the big toes together to touch. Palms are facing forward, lengthening through the crown of the head. Really press down into the soles of your feet so you feel the legs active. And then reaching through the crown of the head. On your next inhalation, bend your knees, sweep the arms up for Utkatasana, and bring hands to heart center. You're going to inhale and extend the spine forward. On exhale, left elbow comes across, depressing hands towards the heart for spinal twist. And now lift the left heel and get onto the ball of the left foot, getting steady, stepping back into twisting crescent lunge. Unwind, bring the hands heart center, and then planting the hands on the floor, step the back foot up a little bit more, and both feet are now flat, and both sets of toes pointing straight ahead. This is a great place to use a block. You could use a book or anything that has a little bit of height to it if you're at home. As you're straightening out both legs, coming into intense side stretch. So on your inhalation, find the flat back. On your exhalation, folding forward, belly and chest towards the thigh. Inhaling, lengthening, exhale, folding, and working through this dynamic movement so that you're just loosening up tight muscles instead of really forcing into a deep stretch. Just a gentle rocking motion. opening up the back of your right leg. And the next time that you rise up, stay on the flat back, soften the front knee, and step the back foot up to meet the front. Inhaling, finding length. Exhale, finding fold. Rise up, fly up, arms reach, and hands to heart center. Taking a moment in Tadasana. Next, inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms up. And then bringing hands to heart center, breathing in as you lengthen the spine, and coming across, right elbow to the left knee for spinal twist. Lifting the right heel, getting a little bit lighter in that foot, being steady as you step back, twisting crescent lunge. And wind to center, planting the hands, and then stepping the back foot up until you can get both legs straight. Remember to check your feet, make sure it looks like you're standing on train tracks, feet hips width apart. On your inhalation, you're lengthening, and on your exhalation, you're folding. And just do that a few more times. Massaging out the back of the left leg now. The next time that you rise up, hold the flat back, bend in that front knee a little bit, and back foot steps up to meet the front, finding the length, flat back, softening into the fold. On your next inhale, flying up, reaching up, and exhaling, hands to heart. Find a smooth and steady breath. All right, from here, you're going to step to the length of your mat and turn your toes out for goddess pose. The toes are turning out, knees are bending, lengthening through the tail. Tailbone pointing down towards the ground as you sink deeper into your goddess pose. Knees are pressing back. And bringing the hands behind the skull, just loosely interlace the fingers, and you're going to bring your right elbow down towards your right thigh. Bring your body back up to center, and then left elbow comes down to left thigh, and just go back and forth a couple times. Following the rhythm of your breath. Good. Completing the round that you're on, and then coming back to center. Releasing the hands to the thighs, give a little press, and then pressing the legs to straight, parallel the feet. And you're gonna bring the hands behind your back, and taking the hands, so I don't have a very good angle on my computer tonight because I moved at the last minute. So you can take the hands with the fingers pointing down, or you can bring the fingers to point up in this reverse namaste. And this is the position that you're going to use to fold forward. So pressing into the feet, wide legs, inhale, lift the heart. As you exhale, folding from the hip crease, softening the crown, or I should say the forehead towards the floor. So you're looking forward as you fold. Slide the hands down the lower back, bring the palms to the floor in front of you. Good. And then you're going to turn your right toes to the right, bending into the right knee. You can bring your hands to the floor for Skandasana. You go to the back of the left heel and the left toes point up to the ceiling, hands to heart. I'm going to give you two angles here in case you're not familiar with this pose. So the left leg is extended and the hands are at the heart center. Good, bringing the hands down to the ground. Use that press of the hands to change sides. So now you're bending at the left knee. The right toes are up with the right leg extended. You could sit on the block here. And palms to the floor, pressing back up. Parallel the feet. You're going to inhale to your flat back, hands to the hips. Exhale to stand. And then step back to the front of your mat. And again, taking a moment in mountain pose, soften in. Soften into the breath, but keep the body nice and active. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, diving forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. And then stepping or floating the feet back, go through a flow using your transition, listening to your body as you make your way into downward facing dog. Extending the right leg long and straight, bending at the knee and stacking the hip. And one more time, you're coming across, right knee to the left tricep, sweep the leg through, foot goes to the floor, or you can keep the leg lifted as you sweep the left arm up, coming into that modified variation of side plank. Lift the hips high, breathe in. Good, hand to the floor, knee comes to the nose, stepping through. This time planting the back foot flat for warrior two as you spiral your way up. And take a moment just to steady the breath. In just a moment, I'm going to be guiding you into side angle pose. So if you need something for that front hand, you can grab that now, but we've done a little bit of work here to get the hips open. So just see how that feels as you extend forward, bringing the fingertips to the floor. Maybe you have some support, reaching up to the left arm, and then taking a half bind, wind that left arm behind the back. You can reach the hand for the hip crease, or it can rest at the lower back. I'm going to be giving you the option here for the full bind. So if your body feels prepared and ready, you can reach underneath the right thigh, clasping hands, lengthening right side waist. Good. If you have the full bind, unwind, bring the hands inside the front foot, rotate on the back foot. So now you're in a wide foot position. Step the back foot up a little bit, straighten both legs. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, full fold into intense side stretch. This time, static hold, really opening up the back of the leg. Rising to a flat back. Now listen for the instructions. Suck your belly in nice and tight. Bring the hands to the lower back. You can take reverse namaste with the fingers pointing down or the fingers pointing up. This is a really strong position for the hamstrings. Open across the chest, lots of extension in the spine. Rise on up to stand. Slide the hands back down. Soften the front knee and step the back foot up to meet the front. Steady the breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen, plant the hands, travel through your flow. Everyone will meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, left leg extends, bending at the knee and stacking the hip. Good, left knee coming across to the right tricep. And then shooting the leg through, foot on the floor, option to use that strong inner thigh to lift the foot up. Good, come on, back through, knee pulls to the nose. Planting left foot between the hands, right foot drops flat for warrior two. circle your way up. And once you're there, take a few moments to steady yourself. You know you're heading into side angle pose, so taking a moment to steady, find the breath, find support if you need it, and then reaching forward, planting fingertips on that support or on the floor, up through the right arm, and then that will wind behind the back. You have the option here for the full bind if that works for your body, clasping the fingers, extending through the left side ribs. And as you unwind, the hands both come down to the ground on the inside of your left foot. Rotate on the right foot until the heel's pointing up to the ceiling. And now framing the front foot, step the back foot up a little bit, straighten both legs. Inhale for that flat back. Exhale, full fold. Holding static in this intense side stretch. Rising to your flat back, suck the belly in really strong. That's going to be your support, as well as the scissoring of the legs together so the inner thighs reach towards one another for strength, and bringing the hands to the lower back. Your option for fingers pointing down or fingers pointing up in this extended variation with the hands in reverse namaste. Sliding the hands down now, fingertips to the floor, softening a bit in the front knee, and then stepping up, lots of length. And now turning the toes out until they reach the edges of the mat, sinking the hips for Malasana. Just settle in. That should feel really good to loosen up the lower back now. Just let the tailbone be heavy down towards the ground. Staying strong through the abdominals as you bring your seat all the way down. And you're going to be rotating a bit so that you're at the length of your mat, left foot pulling in. And this time, so in the beginning we did Janu Shirshasana where the leg was kind of straight coming out from the hip. Now I want you to open up a little bit more. So you're opening the right leg out to the side, sliding the right hand down the shin, rotate the chest open, reach left arm up towards the ceiling, and then bring that straight out overhead. You're not reaching down towards the right foot. You're just making that left arm as straight as possible, bicep by the ear, and rotating the chest up towards the ceiling. And rising back up, planting the left fingertips behind the left glute, point the right toe, lift the hips, sweep the arm up. And hips back down to the ground. Fold the right foot in and extend the left leg out. So leg out to the side, so much wider position for the legs in that opening variation. And sliding the left hand down the shin, really rotating through the chest. First reaching the right arm up and then think bicep by the ear. So you're not going down, you're staying long and you're getting the bicep as close to the right ear as you can. And sweeping the right arm up, planting behind the right glute, point the left toe, and then lifting the hips up. Embrace your inner flash dance as you lift the hips up high, reaching the left arm out and behind you. And bring the hips back down. And then turn back towards the front of your mat and just sit in easy seat so that you can take a few moments to smooth out your breath. Hands can rest on the knees. Close the eyes and turn them up to the space between the eyebrows, gazing upward. Just taking a few moments here to integrate all of the work that you've already done into this space of your intuition and knowing. Let's take a big breath in together. Exhale, sigh it out. And then gently open your eyes. Okay, so we're talking about some ideas about that internal knowing, that feeling at the gut, the intuition at the third eye. And so this next pose, I want you to tap into not just the physicality of the pose, but also the intention and the metaphor that goes along with it. So we'll be taking a variation, some variation of compass pose. Move back just a little bit so you can see the whole. And then we're going to start, we're going to take this in stages. So there's going to be a stage that will work for everybody. So first, we take this position of cradling the foot and the knee into the arms. So the right knee goes into the right elbow, and that edge of the left foot goes into the left elbow, and you just rock your baby here a little bit. This is a loosening for the right hip, and this might be right where you stay. Your body might already kind of be feeling maxed out here. So you can stay right here for a couple more rocks. And then when you feel ready, and at any time throughout these transitions, you can come back to easy seat and just be in meditation posture. All right, to continue on, you're going to lift the leg up and just see if you can put the right knee on the right shoulder. So this again might be your place where you're like, that's my max, and I'm gonna stay right here. And so you can just play around with moving a little bit again into that gentle rocking motion, never forcing. And what you're really working on here is to straighten the spine. So if you're kind of down like this, then your work is to see, can I lengthen up through the crown of my head and hold this space? All right, you're going to bring your left hand to the outside of your right foot, so you're holding onto the edge, and then bring the tented right fingertips down to the floor. So the knee is still bent, and here's where, you know, some people say keep the hip down on the floor, but most people agree lifting up through that hip is really what you need to do to find some straightening of the leg. So don't go into the full pose yet, just kind of rock through the knee and work a little bit on that rotation and straightening through the right side waist. And there's one more important piece of this puzzle, which is the shoulders. We've worked on opening up through the shoulders. There's some twisting and movement, but you can just see how that works for you. Straighten the leg as much as possible, and straighten the leg from the contraction of the quadricep muscles, not pressing into the knee. And then you're just trying to sit up as tall as you can. And this is one of those poses, it changes every day. You get what you get. Soften back out. And then take a moment to sit. And you're going to feel a lot of energy moving through. And I want you to just reach up through the crown of the head and think about, you know, that compass, you're reaching the leg up to that true north. And this is where we're talking about energetically. We're trying to get that space to open up. Flow through this place of personal power. So you have intention, you have that fire. It washes through the space of the heart, shoots out the crown of the head. And that's where you find your true north. You know where you're going and you have the energy to get there. Eyes are closed, gently open. And then bringing the left leg in front, if it's not already there. And first finding that rocking of the baby. While you're doing this, you're working to keep the chest lifted, the crown of the head as upright as possible. Try not to hunch back, but lift up through the chest and really work here until you can get that lift of the chest. That's where you want to stay until the spine, everything's cooperating. So taking that looseness, and remember you can stay right here, and then in a few moments, settle back into your meditation seat. If you're moving on, the next part is to really hike the leg up and see if you can get that onto the left shoulder, planting the left fingertips on the floor, and then reaching for the outside edge of your left foot with your right hand. Now lift up through the hip on the left side so that as you start to play with straightening the leg, you're not really stuck and heavy on the ground. Just rotating through the chest, working on getting the bicep by the ear on the right side. And then if you find that you have some space, squeeze through the quadricep muscles, straightening the leg, try to peek up and underneath the right arm, never forcing to get into these positions. This is a big rotation for the shoulder rotators. You don't want to strain. Spend a moment to breathe, and then softening back out. You're gonna unwind, nice and slow, coming to sit. And once again, watch the energy. Where does it flow? How does that feel in the body? Turn the eyes up to the space between the eyebrows for that third eye integration as you sit and just marinate in the energy that you've opened up in your body. Open the eyes, and now taking the legs straight ahead. You're going to point at your toes, walk your hands back, fingers pointing back towards the heels, lifting the hips nice and high. Really press up, lift up, open up across the chest. So if you felt a little hunched and working into compass pose, now open up. You could, if you feel strong in the neck, you could drop the head back and open the throat. Don't strain the neck to go there. And then squeezing the chin towards the throat. If you let the head drop back, soften the bottom back down to the ground, and moving the flesh away so that you have your sitting bones on the floor and the feet extending out in front. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, belly towards the thighs. Don't strain your lower back here. We've really worked into some tight places. So you might want to stay a little bit more lifted in your Paschimottanasana, taking that forward fold from a really gentle position. You could even create some small dynamic movement, inhaling, finding a lift of the chest, and exhale, softening down. Really listen to your body. If the body is inviting you into a static hold, feel free to bring belly to the thighs, but really pay attention to your sacral area and your lower back. Breathing into the hips and the lower back. One more inhale and exhale here. As you exhale, squeeze the belly, and from that nice support, walking yourself back up. Okay, you're bending at your knees and coming down onto your back now. And take your feet as wide as your mat. Then take a few windshield wipers side to side. So knees are bent and up towards the ceiling, and you're just rocking out side to side. Just massaging out through the lower back until you feel some good release. And then coming back to that center position, feet hips width apart, heels close to the bottom. You're coming into a full bridge pose, so arms are alongside. You're going to press and lift your hips up to the ceiling. Walk the hands under the back, interlace your fingers, then walk the shoulders under more. And pressing down into the feet, lifting the hips nice and high. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest. Opening up now. So this is the softening really of the front side of the body. Your back side is working really hard. And that gives you the freedom to puff the belly, puff the chest with the breath on the inhalation and your bridge, really lifting. And as you exhale, strengthening more into the root, inner thigh area. Take 2 more full big breaths into the front side of your body as you inhale. And on the exhale, strengthening at the root, the legs. Last time, filling all the way up, puffing up, opening up. Exhale, getting strong. And this time as you inhale, you can slide the fingers apart. And on your exhale, lowering down one vertebra at a time. And let the knees drop together as the lower back softens. And you have the opportunity now to decide if you would like to move into Supta Baddha Konasana, just lying flat on the floor, bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees opening. Or if you feel like you need some more inversion time, then you could also, if you practice shoulder stand as part of your practice, you could move into shoulder stand, just a little bit more integration and peace. So you're either resting on the floor in Supta Baddha Konasana, just softening, or you're pressing the arms alongside, using the strength of your abdominals to lift the toes up towards the ceiling. Hands will come to the lower back, walking the elbows in towards the center of your mat. Nice and strong through the legs, but you're not fighting this. You're just energizing through the legs, stacking the spine. If you feel any undue sensation in the neck, then that's your indication that it's time to release out. Just feeling that reversal of flow if you're in shoulder stand, or you can bring the hands to the belly if you're in Supta Baddha Konasana and just tap again into that softening of the belly center and the gentle rise and fall. And if you're in shoulder stand, take a couple more breaths and then you can begin to your exit by bringing the knees around the ears, giving a little squeeze. Placing the hands back down onto the floor, palms facing down, and using the strength of your abdominals to release yourself one vertebra at a time. Just take a moment to pause there. When you feel ready, you can enter the meditation posture, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Placing the hands on the belly, feeling that softening, surrendering of the belly. And you've had the opportunity to tap into your strength and your power in this practice. To test your will a little bit as you move into challenging postures. Now, as you soften and surrender the space of the solar plexus, let the question bubble up and let the answer bubble up behind it. With this energy and power, what will you do? What will you do? Let the answer just bubble up. Feeling confident in your ability, your fire and your power, and your will to get whatever that thing is done. Take a deeper inhale. Sighing back out. Hands to the outsides of the knees, squeeze the knees together. And pressing the feet into the floor, you're going to lift your hips, but just so you can slide your hands underneath your sacrum, the palms facing down. Sit back down on top of your hands and then extend your legs straight out for fish pose. So the hands are under the lower back and the legs extend out. Flex through your feet so the legs are nice and strong, and then wiggle the elbows in a little bit closer so you can press down into the forearms, lifting up through the chest, lift the head off the ground, and then very gently, you're going to set the crown of your head back on the floor behind you. You have very little weight resting on your head. Legs are strongly extending, lower back is supported by the hands, and the chest is open, the throat is open. Just resetting this curve into the neck and feeling spacious in the throat. Inhale. Exhale, and then pressing down into the forearms. Lift the head slightly off the floor. Slide back down and release the hands from underneath the lower back. Now you have the opportunity for any final pose. We did a lot of twisting already, but if a spinal twist sounds good for you, then you can take that now, or maybe some happy baby to loosen the hips and the sacral area. Anything that sounds good, sounds like it would feel good for you. Maybe even a reclined pigeon if you feel like you need more space in the outer hip. Just let yourself feel spacious and free in whatever you choose. And take all the time that you need to complete that. There's no rush to complete this final pose. You're listening to your body, but when you are complete, taking all the time that you need, just know that you'll be making your way into Shavasana. And when you set yourself up for final relaxation, make sure that you take time to create support so that your body can really let go and release. That might mean something under your knees or something under your head. That might mean that you need a blanket to cover up to feel more warm. You may need to cover your eyes. So don't be in a rush to relax. Make sure that you have the full support, because then when you do go into that relaxation pose, the body can really let go and surrender. As you are softening in and creating your support, let the breath continue to slow down. I'm just laughing because I see a puppy dog going back and forth and giving its owner some kisses. All right, soften yourself down. Let the legs release. Nice, warm, heavy legs into the earth. Warm and heavy in the hips and lower back. Hips and lower back melting down. Soft and open through the belly. Feel that gentle fire, just the embers of the fire now that are radiating there. Softening the spine, the muscles that line the spine, warm and heavy into the earth. Open and free in your heart center. Warm and heavy, arms and shoulders into the earth. Open and spacious in the throat, behind the eyes. Warm and heavy, back of the skull, back of the neck, melting down. All of the effort that you poured into your practice now pour into this letting go. This commitment to stillness and rest and healing for the body. As you take time in your Shavasana, let yourself rest. Now stay completely relaxed and try not to move yet. Take a moment to guide awareness back into the physical body from wherever you have been floating. It's coming back to your physical body, lying here warm and heavy on the floor. With the eyes closed, just envisioning the room that you're in, using your powers of visualization, remembering all of the details of the room that you're in. In this warm and safe environment, bringing awareness now back to the breath that is flowing through you. Envisioning this breath that's moving into your interior space, using your mind's eye, your visualization to imagine this warm and safe place inside of your body. And the breath is touching as it flows in and out. Feeling this interior space as the true space of your home. Home is always with you. When you tap into this safety, this energy, this strength right at your center. These little embers that are burning there at the solar plexus, as you take a deep breath in, let those stoke back up, breathing into that fire. And exhale, sighing out. Taking time to move slowly. Inviting small movements in first. Larger movements follow to get blood flowing again in the arms and the legs. Stretching, moving in any way that feels good to open space back up, to wake back up. When you're ready, you'll bend at your knees and roll to the side, spending a few moments side lying position, fetal position, curled up into yourself. Palms pressing into the floor, using the strength of your arms, rise on up to sit. Taking that long spine, crown of the head extending up, and sitting bones settled down into the earth. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And inhaling to our own. And that vibration, sometimes defined as the overflowing abundance of love in the universe that radiates out into the sound and vibration of Om. Letting that overflowing, radiating love settle back into your body. Bring your hands together at heart center. And take a moment of gratitude for this practice that allows us to feel this internal fire, the energy, the power, and the intention we're doing. enough energy to get the things done that we want to bring forth, that we want to put forth. Namaste.